Hey everybody, welcome back to Spirit Plays More of this game that will never die, the Sun Shards. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we're gonna go down the Silver Pond Gate. This looks fairly tempting with the exception of, you know, our best friend the compounds, which we have named and claimed several times. We just got the, going for pure power here, so we got the natural. Is that really very high? What is wrong with me? Anyway, here we go. We're going down. So my not a whole lot too new in the spirit world, right? The good spirit world. Reading Thomas Aquinas this morning. The word of the day is physics versus mathematics versus metaphysics. He says mathematics is the only thing you can have with logical certainty, because physics has infinite variables and metaphysics can never be truly known while you're in the material plane. So it's just something to keep in mind. I read a lot of stuff on him, but that was like the easiest one to convey. What else do we read? So we have that going on, right? In the political realm, I'm gonna kill probably everything here, just due to the nature of, man, you lost some weight since I, shot you with a winter grape. They drop fine fabrics, which always seem to sell. It's kind of nice. Excuse me. They take 3 shots, so I could technically rat-tat-tat-tat you without using the charge, but why not? Decon zones are actually really good in the first couple levels, because you're not going to glean a whole lot anyway. As far as crowns go, where are you going? I felt like Neo in the Matrix. No, it's not Neo. It's Trinity. Dodge this. And they dodge backwards. Good job. But do I guess the highlight of the focus of misconstrued controversy is in our political realm. So those of you that watch are from America might be watching America, or that are not from America, might be watching America and be like, what on earth? Why would you bother, like, with Iran and Iraq? They're just so peaceful people. Well, you have to understand, if you have not, in the there's the media lie. If you haven't figured out, the media lies to you to produce their own narrative. I don't know what to say. This is one of the reasons that Trump was elected, because this is pretty apparent, and they will even say, like, for example, the New York Times has been caught saying that we don't like covering hate crimes that don't involve white supremacy because it doesn't fit a narrative. Like anti-Semitism has been on the rise, and it's the number one in America, the number one cause for hate crimes nationally. But you never hear this because Jews are not on the intersectional hierarchy of, colored, gay, every single thing that is against Judeo-Christian values is what they basically celebrate. So you got that. You also have lately it's been what we call sins of omission, right? So what do you hear about the whole Iraqi thing? You hear President Trump assassinated. Ever since President Trump assassinated this guy, Iran is just, they're gonna have to retaliate. Well, that's true and false at the same time, because it's executing a sin of omission. What really happens is there's this thing that they did that you might not know about, or maybe they just glanced over it. They literally burned our U.S. embassy. So because they burned our U.S. embassy, and because, in case you haven't heard about this, have been bombing and sinking our navy in the area. Their navy's laughable compared to ours, by the way. Because they have been sinking because they took over troops, because they held them hostage, because they've killed American citizens, then President Trump's just like, you know what? No, we're gonna say no, bad Iran, don't do this. One of the things the previous administration did was they're an all or nothing mentality. If we don't fight, go all out war, we must appease them. And you can see this with the hype on social media, saying that it's going to be World War III. No, that if we go to war with Iran, first off, we will destroy them in like 2 seconds. There is no war. There's no draft. The thought that this would be a draft would be the same. It's very laughable. They do not compete with us on a scale. We're the biggest military in the world, and in all aspects, it just would be a very short war if it even is one. So Iran, and here's how you know that Iran doesn't want to go to war either. Just like President Trump does not want to go to war, it's not good for anybody. They literally called, I think it was Denmark and Sweden, and said, because they have troops over there too, they're like, and Iraq. Iran called Iraq and said, we're going to shoot some missiles at you. So we want to make sure you're out of the path. And it looks like their targets were like non-essential. They shot them all over the place. That's why not a single soldier was killed, an American soldier was killed over there, because they literally told, speaking of spark of life, could I get all these, please? I haven't seen them in a couple of runs. So anyway, loss of life, it was non-existent. And so, but that still was a thing. They're doing this stuff in retaliation and a show of strength. But you have people, when their leader was killed, not Benghazi, that's my brain. When the gentleman was killed, I honestly forget his name, so I apologize for that. When he was killed, we got this, and probably this. You actually had Iranian citizens in the streets cheering. So if that's someone that, but the only people that are really like jeering at that were the other terrorist leaders who, and all that Iran has to do to get back involved with the rest of that culture is to stop being freaking crazy, dude. All you gotta do is not be a terrorist. Is it that tough? But it actually, yes, it is. It's if you look at the history of it, because this is something else. I listen to conservative radio, but at the same time, you gotta listen to the authentic copies of it too, because the hype exists everywhere, right? People want views, people want to be listened to, so that way they can advertise products, that way they can make money, and I understand that. You gotta be cognizant of this kind of, that almost got me. I was just right into the trap. You gotta be cognizant of all that stuff, so. But they tell you a side, because the media is progressive, and usually the theme of progression is you don't read history, you take whatever flavor is in front of you, say that flavor sounds and looks good, and you go from there. Now, for instance, communism, free healthcare for all, sounds great, until you actually look at the history and read how human beings have interacted with those concepts throughout the history of the world. So, healthcare for all, the progressive, like, 'cause it's great in theory, but then where are you going to get the money for that stuff? And the methods that people have been using to get the money, that kind of thing, or rather the world, those are the kind of things that fall apart. And that's the stuff you never hear, because the media is constantly engaged in either being ignorant of history or just in general committing sins of omission, because they don't want to listen. They go they put their hands over their ears, they go la 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 la, and they don't talk about what has actually happened or what is important. Someone who is genuinely like wanting to find truth will not commit a sin of omission. You have to take things in perspective. I'll just keep shooting him. Yeah, that's what happens. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the political sphere. I believe it or not, and this is the all or nothing mentality. Either you love me or you hate me. There's no middle ground, and this is where the love and information are kind of twisted. Dude, I'm going deep, like, right off the bat. So it's piecewise. I like how there's, I love Friends. Although there's like weeds. I don't know, little things, right? Gotchas. This new. You know, I'm seeing like that last area was new as well. I think. Gotcha. Thank you, Mike. Your sacrifices will be forever known. We did it. Gotcha. Suddenly combat just erodes my mind into the bare instincts that are necessary. Oh, please. You spin me. I got the spin me right round baby song stuck in my head. No. Stop getting hit, brain. You know better. Getting hit is bad. Hitting things is good. This is why I'm a good American. I can figure this stuff out in my own mind. Anyway. We will do all the danger rooms. I have not seen this one in a while. I know it's not new. No. That was me fat fingering everything. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Oh, well. We'll get through your shield, buddy. We'll make this happen. Anyway, sins of omission. That's like... That's in my mind, that's like the biggest theme today. And sins of omission, in my opinion, you're just as guilty for not presenting all the facts. Like, and yeah, what does it say in the scriptural sense? Because a lot of the stuff just synergizes. You can't help it, but keep this in mind, right? At the end times, and Revelation says, well, even before that, they say there will be everybody will find a teacher to tell them whatever they're doing is just fine, because their ears are itching for their own truth. And in Israel, because Israel by definition is the literally it means to struggle with God and prevail. And then you have it's neat when you think about this stuff. You have the Islamist perspective, which Islam itself means submit. So that way you don't struggle, you don't prevail. You just straight up submit. And if you want to go back in history, you look at the Quran itself. It says back when Abraham was like the most prestigious. He's one of the most prestigious people in the Jewish culture, if not the most. It's arguable, but him or Moses. But you go back to that. We're gonna switch you, by the way, because rat-tat-tat-tat. Gotta make sure my thumbs can still get the coordinated Alchemist bullets that we all know and love. I also gotta make sure I gotta heat my blitz at least at some point in this run. Speaking of blitz, that guy had the right idea. So anyway, in the Quran itself, sorry, what I was going at, is the Muhammad says that the child of promise was Ishmael. It was not Isaac. Well, that is, if you believe in the Torah, which are the first 5 books of Moses, which every Muslim will say they believe in, then they will say it is corrupt. Then you have to go by that. You kind of locked into the grid work, so to say. But then again, you don't, because then you can have the argument, well, it's been corrupted. Well, then how is the Quran itself not been corrupted? Well, that's the very book of Allah. It is not. And the book of Allah, sorry. Just because. And I was trying to, because I can't totally understand this, right? It's not my culture. I did it. So I gotta make sure I say this, but at the same time, you can have head knowledge of a lot of things. So just knowing this kind of history, kind of discrepancy between the Jews and the Muslims, gives a good bit of insight to the conflict in the Middle East. So to submit, so struggle involves relation, involves compromise. We're just talking about the philosophy of the names, right? But you can see this. Names are important. Definitions are very important. I just cannot. Can we? Okay, we can. And all that stuff, you have to keep a lot of things in perspective. And this is where wisdom comes in handy. People that have lived longer than you tend to have a different perspective because they can bring more things to the table. Sometimes my boss feels inadequate because I make a good... I'm like, don't... It's okay, man. Sometimes I catch things you don't. And sometimes you catch things I don't. Actually, more often than not, you catch things that I don't. So, but... Gotta be careful your pride doesn't get in the way. Can you just... I'm not clicking twice, Java, to argue with you from a metaphysical perspective. Anyway, so the name submit means just roll over, not question anything, and just take it for what it is. To ask why, to desire a greater form of understanding, by definition, struggle can get you in to a lot of good places. Now, that was a good shot. That did not happen. Oh, who did the same thing? I've done it. We've ascended. This is like an optional path. I've never seen this. Usually they're quite linear. Beautiful. Anyway. Even so, if you look at the book of Job, God allows questions. It's not like he destroys Job for asking him a question. He sets him right, if anything. He's like, who are you? Where were you when I created the foundation of the earth? Where were you when I knit yourself together in your mother's womb? So basically, God, the answer that God gives Job for all his suffering is, my perspective is, let me tell you this in a way you can understand. My perspective is so greater than you, or so greater than the one you have. Peace would happen. Death by stunning zombies, I guess. But his answer wasn't silence. He gave him an answer, and he said, you have to understand my perspective is quite higher. He's like, answer me as a man. My perspective is ridiculously higher to the nth degree than yours will ever be. An eternal being versus a physical one. You know, it's like a character in a story that you wrote down, asking you why you wrote me this way. Yeah. I was just reading in Isaiah. I'm reading the book of Isaiah because it strongly pulls to me the might as well get some. I do like blue. Green's my favorite color. What am I doing? There you go. Fun fact. But it's I don't know. It calls me because Isaiah was highly political. He had a vision of God, but he called out to every single political atrocity that was going on in the room. Oh, well, it's been destiny. So we knew this was coming, and we all know it. We all love it. We want more of it. Seed to the pounds. Speaking of coffee, C words. Ooh. Made a pot of coffee today, and it was the first, like right when you put it in and you start it, it was the first 2 cups, and I couldn't wait for the entire pot to be made, so poured it in here, and it's like tasting earwax, but oh my gosh, I know the coffee jolt it's gonna give me. It's just gonna be out of control. This legalistic upper that we have is just amazing. Anyway. No. We just have arcade, right? Let's do this. Here we go. Because who knows what's going to be in this life. Why neutral weapons are where it's at. Anyway, just start here. I think it's a slime theme. Or it's slime or beast, I forget. Well, maybe both. Judging by the last, it's okay, man. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I forget. Sometimes, the actual game gets in the way. I do like trying to... One way you know something is if you can try to explain it while doing a complex motor function. It's just, this is where I get, I try to work... excuse me, I try to talk and work at the same time. Gets me a little bit better. Usually it's one-sided, right? If you're not used to doing that kind of thing. That's a lot of fire dudes. Usually I can get a lot of words in. But the other person also has time to think. Because, it's when you come at the contemplation later, in other words, there are a lot of, teleporting borders here, which I do not approve of. Guess we can counter that with the legendary... I'm just gonna go this way. That's okay with you. The legendary dual orbital. Too bad we don't have, mega orbitals as time goes on. I know in, I gotta finish that game, though. Children of Morta. There is a thing like that. If anything, I know it's inconsistent, but I want to finish it. I thought it was charged there, bro, by the way. Sorry about that. I know it's inconsistent, but I want to finish it, if anything, with its own narrative. But, I keep a lot of the things I do here, I want to complete a bit. I know Agalas is a game I never really finished, because I got stuck, and I ran around the world 6 times. I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I gotta look up a guide, and I hate doing that. Maybe I'll revisit it later, I don't know. But I like doing this because I know my daughters are gonna look at this stuff in the future and just be like, it was cool hanging out with my dad. Look, I'm 6 years old playing a game with him. This is amazing. What other time in their life can they do this? It's pretty awesome. Oh. You are not a very fast draw, my friend. Anyway. Besides that, I can you're like my own little personal, not oratory. That's I can. This is my time of besides prayer. I talk to God, but I'm not talking to God right now. I know I'm talking to people. I can throw out plans that are going on in the spirit household. You know, yesterday I made a video, and you know, whenever I played with my kids, that if you are not investing in the next generation, I mean, do so. It's good on so many levels. It gives you an eternal perspective. Gets rid of this selfless lifestyle, which it has to happen if you do not have a transcendent perspective. It has to. Because you have to believe in something, and if you don't believe in anything, well, you're just making room for something to fall in there and replace your worldview, which is origin. Yeah, if you haven't read, you can write this down, right? Every worldview has 4 things that must answer, and they must cohere. If they don't cohere, well, if you want me to answer that, you want my answer to make sense? I mean, everybody wants coherence in their life, stability. Well, things change. Things do change, but you want things to be stable. You want things to make sense. You want things to align. The laws of mathematics should line up toward a singular answer. They should. There is no yes or no. Do I look left or right when I cross the street? It's either me or the bus, not both of us, right? Blah, blah. I mean, you have to keep that stuff in perspective. Anyway, I forget I was going with that. There's too many minis. Dude, Piecewise is freaking awesome, dude. Let's do this. Thank you. I'll go whatever way. Oh no. I put myself right in his sight. Anyway. These little minis are awesome. What I'm trying to say. Can I get a shot off here? Yada! I'm so sorry. I back up. Oh, I'm gonna take another hit. No, I'm not. Dude, this guy's got some mean blitz action. Good for him. I should probably go the other way. Yep, we gotta cross paths. I'm sorry, I spawned a bunch of them. Anyway, seek truth, that's all I'm saying. Seek truth. This is something you also have to be prepared for. When you seek something as precious as truth, you have to be prepared to believe that what you hold as true, morally and physically and everything else might be wrong. And something you hold dear, something that's apparent to you, apparent, not apparent with an A, apparent, abhorrent. That's better. I'm right. Might actually be false. So you gotta be prepared for that. You gotta be prepared for critique. This is again one of the lies that the world teaches you, that love and affirmation are tied. Just because I tell you you are wrong, that does not mean I hate you. It means I want you to be better and I want to put you on the right path. Hope that makes sense. We're gonna see what. Oh, I don't even know if I have enough for Basil. So put a bunch of materials up in the auction house. I know we're only like 20 some minutes in, but I try to split these up for anything for consistency. Oh, it spin me. Time to spin, boys. Oh, what is this? A poison construct arena? We don't have enough. All right, here we go. Wait, there's some Force of Star stuff that does sell. Dark Thorn Blade. I don't see people with that anymore. Raptor. AP maybe. Which I wish I had the time to make. Let's go, boys. See what this is. Solitaire and what's your game? Astrea. Oh, they got bombs, yo. Venom Fang. So is that undead? Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. We'll continue on the next time. And I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.